Okay, so I want to try something new on this channel. Okay, Future Excel here. So, wow. Okay, wow. I lost my train of thought. So I want to animate and watch something at the same time. You guys are going to be watching that thing with me, and yeah, you can see my progress on how I animate, and we can watch something together. Maybe I can try that on Twitch one day. Maybe. But for now, YouTube. Okay, so with no further ado, I'm gonna be watching Creepcast. It's with the guy that does the creepy videos and the guy that does the creepy stories. I can't remember the name right now. Oh, Wendy Goon. Yeah, Wendy Goon. Goon, that didn't age well for him. Okay, so we're gonna start right now, and yeah.
Alright,
so ready.
We are talking about one of the OG classics. I couldn't find an official date. There's been some speculation of when exactly this thing was live or whatever. I don't know. Today we're talking about Jeff the Killer. Which, if you haven't heard of Jeff the Killer, you've probably seen this image here. I feel like everybody on the internet has seen this image at least once.
One of the most classic internet images of all time.
It is.
For sure.
It's a good one. I like it. You know, it's one of those, it's a nice blown out image. You know, it kind of works in a bunch of different ways. I feel like it works in some comedy memes while also being a bit spooky. It's a jack of all trades, which I enjoy.
I'm jumping the gun a little bit on the analysis, but I truly think the most impactful thing to come out of the entire story is that image.
It is probably the only positive, if I'm being completely transparent.
Not just for Jeff the Killer, but for like where internet horror went as a whole. Like this was one of the first images that was kind of in that shaky, like found footage, there's something in my house tone, and that's like most of what, you know, internet horror became after that. So I think
it does have that, it does have that Mandela catalog kind of vibe.
Yes,
of
exactly.
Like that kind of like weird, uncanny,
It looks like someone like was being attacked and uploaded it right before they died. You know, it gives that whole vibe to it. So I think the most impactful thing to come out of this whole story was that image. And that was the peak because it's all downhill from there.
It is. This is an interesting one because we started off with the Search and Rescue series, which we both enjoyed, and it's like it's just like a very fun, well-written classic. This is just
we should probably actually start talking about this.
Yeah, well, we've pushed it about a minute and a half after the first sentence, so we've proven our point. All right, so feed the pig. Let's get into it. I slowly opened my eyes. My head was swimming, and a dull pain surrounded my throat. I was thirsty. That was the first thing I noticed. I licked my dry lips as my surroundings faded into focus. My body ached, and I realized it was because I was tightly bound to a metal chair in the middle of an empty room. The barren concrete walls were stained and dirty. The floor beneath my bare feet was cold and slightly wet. A single bulb lit the room, dangling from the ceiling by a string. It cast moving shadows, and I blinked back darkness. An open door stood before me, but I couldn't see anything but the wall of the hallway. I tried to clear my head, tried to remember how I got here. I squeezed my eyes shut and forced myself not to panic. I slowed my breathing and focused my thoughts, desperately trying to summon some recollection of why I was here. Couldn't remember anything. I opened my eyes and exhaled, my parched throat throbbing. I could hear sound echoing off the hallway walls outside the door, screaming, clanging, howling, all very distant, but that did nothing to help calm my nerves.
Hello?
I cried, the word tearing at my vocal cords. I felt my chest hitch in pain, and I cleared my throat and yelled again.
Is anyone there? Hello?
The dark hallway remained silent, except for the constant echoes. I shut my mouth, tried to wriggle free of my bindings, but the rope was knotted impossibly tight. I fought back against my imagination as it flooded my mind with horrific scenarios of what awaited me. I could only remember.
Kind of reminds you of the hostel kind of like rooms or something.
Yeah, or like Saw.
It was like weird torture chambers
like
or something like that. Some industrial kind of like place.
The note of what he said is interesting. He can hear screaming, clanging, and howling. It sounds like I don't know what that sounds like, but it's not good. It sounds like some kind of machine.
I'm wondering the distance if it's just like that kind of shit.
Yeah. Like people being like tore up by something. Yeah, or like shoved through a machine or something. Because with clanging, you imagine like metal machinery, right? That's what I think of.
Well, I'm wondering if it's. I pictured almost like chains on pipes or like somebody like handcuffed to that kind of thing. And then like, and they're like slapping around or something.
I don't know. We'll find out. Suddenly, footsteps erupted from outside the door. A rapid patter of small feet. My hopes rose, and I trained my attention on the door, praying it was help. A young boy ran into the room, dressed in a red onesie, complete with padded feet. Stretched over his face was a plastic devil mask. The eye holes revealed massive blue eyes that greeted me curiously. Taken back, I opened my mouth to speak. That's when I noticed something was off. His eyes were huge, impossibly round and bulging from their sockets. It sent a shiver of unease down my spine, but I shook it off. This child might be able to free me.
Hey kid, can you get me out of here?
The boy took a step closer, cocking his head but remaining silent. Rattled my bound arms against the chair.
Cut me free, please. I shouldn't be here. This is some kind of mistake.
The boy eyed me behind his strange mask and stopped directly in front of me. He leaned in close and whispered, his voice like wet silk.
You did a bad thing.
Confused, I shook my head.
No, this is a mistake. I didn't do anything.
The boy's enormous blue eyes suddenly filled with sadness.
Oh, you did a really bad thing.
All right, so the story had me. I was there. I was in the room.
What?
I was imagining.
That sounds like the kid.
Blue-eyed devil
That sounds like a
mask.
kid with big,
And now I'm
sad,
imagining
goopy eyes.
that I can't remember their name. That whatever character it was from South Park who sold the steroids to Jimmy for the Special Olympics.
Okay, all right. Well, that's you. That's your kind of interpretation of the voice I'm doing. I'm doing a young child with big, goopy blue eyes. Oh, you did a really, really bad thing. He's a kid.
No. This sounds like this is mocking. This is some level of deep down sarcasm. I'm not going to stop you. I just want it to be clarified to the audience that I'm not with him. I don't agree with this.
Okay, well, I can do it.
Look,
I'll do a different voice. Now you're in my head.
Too late.
Now you're in my head. Here, what's a better?
If you want to deliver a good
why don't you give
show,
me an example?
If you want to
give me
deliver
an example
a good
of
show
what
for your audience, then maybe you can act like it. Is all I'm saying.
I thought it was a legitimate, good, creepy, weird thing. You're talking about a kid walking around in a red onesie with a devil mask on. Right? Yeah. All right. So how do you think he should sound? Go ahead. Say, you did a really, really bad thing.
I'm not the voice actor, so I'm not the one to ask about this. I just read the stories.
You sure know how to give criticism as if you are.
You're
what about
right about that? That's for sure.
What about? Oh, you did a really, really bad thing.
If that's what you think our audience deserves, then you go with it.
No, I am a grown man trying to do a child's voice. You know what? I'm just gonna let it roll. It might be different every time. Who knows?
All right. Well, like I said, if you think that's what the audience deserves, then that's on you. I'm just letting the audience know that I'm not in on it.
All right.
I shook my head again, violently.
No, I'm sorry. I don't remember. Just please get me out of this chair.
Suddenly, before either of us could speak again, a man came charging into the room. He was overweight and dressed in overalls. His grizzled face twisted in seething anger. He was holding a sawed-off shotgun in his arms.
I didn't do anything!
I cried as he advanced on us, my voice cracking.
I'm not supposed to be here!
The big man ignored me and instead grabbed the kid and shoved him hard against the wall. The boy grunted as his back struck the concrete and his eyes rose to meet the grizzled man's. Wordlessly, the man raised his shotgun, placed it against the boy's forehead, and blew his head off. I'm sorry, Hunter. Is something funny? Is there something you'd like to share with the class?
Oh God! I like how the guy just he's like, the kids say, they what a quick altercation! Just blew the child's head off with his sawed-off shotgun. Okay, sorry.
When you all get mad at me for picking stories that involve like Tommy Taffy-esque themes or Baraska themes or whatever, remember this is what I'm working with. Okay, this is what I have to keep happy. This is like
let me
what
tell
I have to
you,
shovel
that was
adult content into to get something out of. Just remember that.
Let me tell you that was unexpected. I expected the child to be more part of the story. Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
What about a child being shot in the face is so funny to you?
It was just shocking. It was not expected. That's why I got such a visceral reaction out of me. I'm sorry.
Chunks of gore splattered the wall as shock sludged me in the stomach like an iron fist. My ears rang, and time seemed to slow as I watched in horror as the headless body crumpled to the ground. Is that also funny? Would you like to make a joke about that line?
Well, see, no. Now that I've let it sink in, now I can process this.
Okay, cool. My breath rushed back into my lungs, and time seemed to readjust.
Jesus fucking Christ!
I screamed, straining against the ropes, my eyes bulging in horrific shock.
What the fuck?
The man ignored my screams as he bent down and picked up the boy, slung the ruined corpse over his shoulder, and walked out the doorway. Suddenly, the hallway erupted with malicious laughter, a chorus of voices, all howling in glee. I shut my eyes, the noise deafening, as absolute terror filled my every pore. After a few moments, the laughter faded, and I cautiously opened my eyes, unable to believe what I had just witnessed.
Okay, sorry about that. My phone went off for some reason. So let's start that from where we stopped. Oh my God. Damn.
Actually see what chorus of voices all howling Victor comes in, shoots the kid, walks outside and says, as they go into the hallway, it erupts in laughter, and a chorus of voices all howling in glee. So there are like people outside waiting for the body of the child almost.
Yeah, I would assume that it almost makes it seem like it's pens or some people are able to actually see what's going on. I'm like, I don't know why, but I think that like,
in your mind's
I don't think
eye?
people are standing in the hallway. Yeah, in my mind's eye.
There you go.
I don't think people are standing in the hallway. I feel like people are looking from a room out to the hallway and they're just crazed maybe.
Oh, kind of like that's almost designed like prison cell blocks.
Yeah, that's what I'm kind of picturing. The only thing that's weird is that I'm pretty sure our protagonist, there's no, I think his door is just totally open or there's no door at all, if I remember right.
There has to be a door. Right? Oh, no, he's chained to a chair or something.
He's chained to a chair, but I think I think the door is just open so he can see people just like coming in and like walking by and stuff.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. I think you're right. Okay.
Hello.
I jumped as I realized there was another man standing before me. He was dressed in a simple white button-down shirt and jeans. His brown hair was cut short and he appeared to be in his early 30s. His green eyes were dull, lifeless. His full lips pulled down to the corners.
What is going on? Where am I?
I cried, new fear pulling in my stomach like hot blood. The man crossed his arms.
So you're the new one, huh? You people disgust me.
Is that the kind of character you think our audience deserves?
I think that, you know what, at this point, yes. At this point, if my acting is going to be under scrutiny, then you all don't deserve me at my best. I believe I'm giving you gold.
So you're the new one, huh? You people disgust me.
So, as this show continues into the future, I want you all to remember that this is what he thinks of you and compare that to how much I love you. Just remember
that's true. That's true. It's true.
Questions bubbled on my lips, but he waved them off with a sharp chop of his hand, slicing the air and demanding my silence. He ran his tongue over his teeth, sneering.
You look like you're already.
I feel like you should be Southern.
You look like you've already seen some of the horrors this place holds, huh? Yes, I can tell by the look in your eyes. You're terrified. You've seen something, haven't you? It doesn't seem all that bad now, does it? Looking back, you've been here 5 minutes and already shitting your pants.
I like the Mr. Weller's voice. It's pretty good for him.
I feel like at this point, I don't know why, big sweaty man, sawed off shy. I feel like he's a little Southern. What do you think? Do we like that?
Now
or no?
this isn't the big guy.
No, this is the guy, the white button up. Yeah.
White button, I think
he's
Southern.
more put together.
Yeah. That works.
Yeah. So where am I?
I gasped, unable to hold back any longer.
What do you people want?
The man crossed his arms behind his back.
I bet you want to get out of here, don't you? I bet you'd like to go back to your home, your family, everything.
Please, whatever I did to you, I'm sorry. I really am, but I don't remember.
The man rolled his eyes.
You didn't do anything to me. You did it to yourself. You really don't remember anything, huh?
Shook my head and felt tears brimming in my eyes. Liquid fear. The man looked at me with contempt.
You waited until your wife left for work and then you went out to the woodshed and hung yourself. You're dead.
You're watching a toothbrush play Billie Eilish. But did you know that there's a YouTube Music app where you can also listen to the EDM version, the ska version, and of course, the original version? Duh. Get YouTube Music Premium.
Dun dun dun.
That's kind of an interesting hook.
I remember all this from the story because that's like the whole thing it's famous for online and stuff like that.
It's like, oh, you're actually dead.
Well, it's as if the story is a depiction of hell, basically.
I see.
Yeah.
How do you like that reveal? How do you like that?
Again, it's a little bit. I'd be more interested to hear your opinion because I went into reading today knowing it was about hell. How do you feel about it? As someone who thought this was like a saw trap thing.
I don't know.
You don't know? You don't know how you feel about it?
Disappointed, I guess.
You feel disappointed in it? You can be honest. You can talk. It's okay.
I don't know. I kind of just wanted it to be a weird torture thing.
You wanted it to be a weird torture thing? You know, it's sad that's not just a weird torture thing.
This guy's dead.
Yeah, that's sad. I understand. Well, think of it this way. What is hell if not just one really long weird torture thing, right?
Yeah.
So we can still do the weird torture stuff, buddy, and we can still get all of that. This just opens up the door now for maybe some more supernatural elements to it, right?
I guess.
That's what I thought. Okay, so we can have our weird torture thing, and we can also have demons and monsters, and it also means that you can probably get an unrealistic amount of blood and gore. Maybe they'll bring in another kid and shoot him in the face again.
You think?
I think they might.
Okay.
Because now that it's hell, you could realistically shoot as many kids in the face as you want.
That's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool, isn't it? You could just infinitely, it could even be the same kid, just over and over brought back to be shot in the face. Would that make you happy?
Yeah, it'd be fun.
It'd be pretty fun, wouldn't it?
Mm.
So, maybe don't count it out yet. See where it goes from here. See what it does with its new idea.
Okay.
All right. The recent memory rose in my mind like a monster from a bog. My eyes went wide. As much as I wanted to deny it, he was right. I killed myself. The incident tore through my brain like a bullet train, left me reeling.
I'm Danny, by the way.
The man said, ignoring the shocked look on my face.
And I'm number 2 here. I run the orientation process. I want to make this quick because I'm tired of repeating this fucking thing to you pathetic suicidals. You get one question before I begin.
Okay, how does that make you feel? Does that perk you up to it any? I'm the orientation, you get one question. That's how this works, Does that make you feel anything? Huh? A little bit, maybe getting a little bit of a unique depiction here. Maybe this won't be your standard pitchfork and, whatnot. It's like, we have a whole process. There's an orientation. You get one question. I'm imagining this guy, but thanks to your stunning voice acting, I'm imagining Danny as like a Walton Goggins type, you know? So that's cool. You have like a salesman type as the front door for hell. Isn't that kind of cool?
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. He stared down at me and I scrambled to organize my thoughts into something cohesive. This was all horrifying. Why'd I kill myself? I fought against the fog and panic, and the mist of confusion slowly began to lift. I had just lost my job. Yeah, that was the start. I squeezed my eyes shut and forced more of the memory to emerge. I lost my job, and I was about to lose the house. My wife, Tess, she found out and was going to leave me. I didn't have any way out. Didn't have any options. Getting fired had come out of the blue, and I didn't have much in savings. I was broke, soon to be homeless. My wife hated me for it. There was something else. Yes, that's right. She'd been cheating on me. I had seen texts on her phone while she slept one night and confirmed my suspicions. My life had degraded to shit, and I had run out of options. Humiliated and ashamed, I decided death was my only option.
I'm imagining that he looks over at his wife's phone and there's just like a nude pic and he's like, oh my God, she's been getting nude pics from other men. You like look over and it's just a guy doing a goat brain.
A goat brain?
Yeah, it's where you shove your balls to the back of your legs and have a peek out the back of your thighs. Just his asshole and the goat brains sitting there. That's the nudes that his wife is getting. Oh, my suspicions are true.
My investigation has turned new evidence.
Inspector Gadget finds out that his wife is cheating on him. Go, Gadget, broken heart.
That's a funny visual. You have like a Sherlock Holmes type inspector, like 19th century, and it's just like the
giant magnifying glass on an iPhone screen, and it's just a guy doing a goat brain and spreading his asshole open.
It's like the most vulgar porn imaginable, just disgusting. That he's like, yes, very interesting.
I think me wife may be cheating on I.
It's like he's getting pictures of his wife just like in the most unholy positions, just absolutely just awful. And he's like, what could all this mean?
Well, I better sleep on it.
This case is nearly cracked, but the clues
well, the clues keep stacking. Just tons and tons of those kinds of pictures she's like holding it in front of his face and just swiping. So she's just like going through the gallery on her phone.
I feel like she's trying to tell me something.
She's like, this is why I'm leaving you. And he's standing there in like the full like tweed stitched overcoat with the hat and like the pipe.
Yeah, sweating profusely underneath a duvet.
She's like, this is why I'm leaving you showing. And he's like, what could it all mean?
But sweetheart, why?
He's just always inquisitive. She's like, I don't know how to make it any more clear. I'm done.
What was the first thing I did wrong? There has to be some
I have to get to the bottom of this.
So she says, I had decided death was my only option.
Hey, fucker. Do you have a question or not?
Danny said, snapping his fingers in front of my face. I was sucked back into reality, and I asked the only question that mattered.
Is this hell?
Danny snorted.
That's always what people ask.
He began to pace back and forth in front of me.
Hey there. Pretty neat, huh? Did you know that you could do this too? Let's get into how you can explore Genshin Impact's newest region like a pro. Like Fontaine, Natlin offers a new way to explore the open world using a mechanism called Night Soul Transmission. It's smooth, dynamic, and customizable with different Natlin characters. Let me show you how. When a character is using Night Soul, you'll see them glow. Once you start moving, take note of your other Natlin companions. If their name starts lighting up, they're ready to swap.
No, this is not hell. It's not heaven either. This is the Black Farm. And no, I didn't name it that. This is where God sends the souls who have ended their own life. Suicidals, you see. He doesn't really know what to do with you. and neither does the devil. There are generally good people who kill themselves. Seems cruel to banish them to hell for all eternity for a moment of weakness, right? Personally, I think God and the devil were just tired of arguing about it, and so they send them here to the Black Farm.
Did God create this place?
I asked, growing more and more confused. Danny spit on the floor, chuckling.
Sure, at some point, but he lost control of it and he put the pigs in charge. What's the pigs?
I asked, unsure. I wanted to know the answer. So how are you feeling now? Huh?
I don't know.
Is it, you don't know? Okay, okay. It's not heaven or hell. It is the Black Farm. And Danny says God lost control when he put the pig in charge. Does any
optimistically, I'm like, ooh, that's fun, because it kind of reminds you of this Hideshi Hino comic. I think it's just literally called Pig Farm. Pessimistically, I think to myself, the most all-knowing being created a place called the Black Farm, and he put walking, talking pig people in charge.
Well,
that's the pessimistic
never been
side.
Explicitly a pig. It's called the pig.
Right? No, I'm just saying that's where my pessimistic mind's at.
Okay.
My I want to have fun thing is I'm like, ooh, the flavor of this is nice. It reminds me of that horror manga that I read.
Yeah, it is very flavorful so far. I agree.
Yeah. The visuals are fun. Now I'm picturing it a bit more, not necessarily dystopian, but a bit more surreal. Like maybe like if you went outside, the skies would be black or I mean like red or something.
It's in like a very limbo sort of place.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. What's the pig?
I asked, unsure. I wanted to know the answer. Danny held up a hand, annoyed.
Can I fucking finish? God created this place eons ago, put the pigs in charge, and they forgot about it for a while. Well, when his back was turned, the pig decided to use his own new powers to try and create his own little world. This mess you see around you is the fractured remains of that experiment. The Black Farm used to be a lot nicer, but the pig wanted things to be different. He wanted to create his own vision. These people you see, these monsters, they are the pig's attempts to create functioning life. Instead of mirroring God's earth, these mutated, horrible creations are full of sin and hatred. They run rampant here, unabashed. This place is chaos. The Black Farm is a circus of freaks and monsters, and it's your eternity.
Fear boiled in my gut like thick oil. No, this couldn't be my end. I didn't believe in stuff like this. This wasn't real. I would wake up soon and realize I was just having a nightmare. That had to be it. Then he stood before me and lightly slapped my face.
Hey! Don't go into hysterics on me. I haven't finished yet.
I raised my teary eyes to meet his, and Danny smiled.
You can always feed the pig.
My breath pushed from my lungs like burning steam.
What does that mean?
Danny spread his hands, still smiling.
It's as simple as that. Feed the pig. If you do so, there's a chance he'll send you back to your life.
And what happens if it doesn't?
You get sent to hell. So flip a coin if you have one. Stay here with us or feed the pig. If you choose to stay, I'll let you go. I'll let you go out there.
He said, pointing towards the door.
But let me assure you, what awaits you at the end of that hallway, well, let's just say hell isn't that much worse.
I swallowed hard, trying my best to digest everything. Why wouldn't I try feeding the pig? Whatever that meant. If there is even a sliver of hope, I would take it. An eternity in this place, the Black Farm, be sent to hell or feed the pig? I would do anything for a chance to go back. This nightmare made my problem seem nothing in comparison. Danny raised a hand before I could speak.
I'll let you think on it for a while. I'll be back later.
I want to feed the pig!
I cried, not wanting to spend another second in this awful room. I could hear a woman screaming down the hallway, her cries rising as something meaty pounded into her. That just came out of nowhere. That was like
All right.
all right, well, that was uncomfy all at once.
Yeah, see.
That came out
So
of
I
nowhere.
get blamed for laughing at a child getting his head blown off, but
All right.
something meaty pounded into her.
I wasn't laughing at that. I was laughing at like the story had none of that. And then it's
No,
like,
I know, yeah. Well, I mean, to be fair, it could be like thuds of a punch. To be fair.
sure. That's
could be
what's
like- it could be
happening. Just like in the
It should be
Tommy Taffy story where when something
It
was
was
going
the
on in the
WWE
daughter's
stars.
room, it was a WWE game. Yeah.
Yeah, it was
course.
a tombstone pile driver.
Yeah. My breath came in sharp pulls and my throat burned. Danny noticed the noise and grinned.
Sounds pretty bad, huh?
He said softly as the woman's voice creaked with agony. Something was still slamming into her. The sound of beaten flesh igniting my imagination with horrors. That could be punching.
I think it's someone getting fucking beaten to death. is what I think it is.
Yeah. That's what it is for sure. So what do you think about him being immediately like, I want to feed the pig?
I mean, I'd probably do the same.
Yeah, but I feel like he needs to know more before he makes that decision because like the guy Danny described it as a coin flip between hell or going back to Earth, right?
Yeah.
So like that seems like something you would want more info on before you do it, you know?
No, I think so as well. I guess I'm trying to leave my rational brain to the side, and I'm trying to picture myself if I was already tied up in this hellscape of a place too. I found out that pigs tried creating life, and they basically ended up with this weird Tim Burton world.
Yeah.
I would probably just be like, I'm ready to try it.
I
Get me the
guess,
fuck
yeah.
out of here.
Sure. He's going through a lot right now.
But I mean, I think a more rational person, you would need to be like, well, what does that mean? What does that entail? You know, all that
Yeah,
stuff.
try to just figure out something. Like, is there anything I can do to favor the odds or anything like that? What does that even mean? Because it sounds like he's going to be eaten by the pig, but
That's what it sounds like. Is he either accepts your, what I'm thinking is he either accepts your offering or he eats you, and buying product you get sent to hell or something. Is
Probably,
what I'm assuming. Please, just let me feed the pig. I don't want to stay here any longer.
Danny turned away from me.
I'll be back later. Enjoy your time alone. Really think about your situation. Weigh your options, and remember, you put yourself here.
And with that, he was gone, leaving me in the dim room. Tears streamed down my face. The woman didn't stop screaming for hours.
I was going to say too, I wonder if since they're already dead, if you're being tortured, if you just can never actually go into shock, or you can't actually pass out, or you just have to, if it's just like, oh, you're not going to die again, right? So someone could just beat the hell out of you forever if they wanted to.
Yeah. So, like, I imagine the kid that got shot in the face was one of the creations that was mentioned, right?
Oh,
We're
yeah,
like
right,
half
right.
humans. Because otherwise, what does that mean to get your head blown off in the afterlife? Are you just headless now?
I'm wondering why they cheered about that. If that's the case.
It's probably the other Dementors and stuff like that. Just like seeing gore, like seeing, you know.
Oh, they're all about depravity and
Yeah,
violence.
yeah.
So anytime they see that, they're like, yeah.
I'm getting very. Are you familiar with the video game Outlast?
The found footage one.
Yeah,
right? Or
yeah,
like
the one where you're in,
yeah.
like, where everyone in
asylum.
there. Yeah, you're in the asylum and everyone in there is like going crazy because of the wall rider. So they're all like, they're all laughing and like trying to attack you and stuff like that because they want to see gore and whatever. That's kind of the image I have
Yeah, I could see that.
in my mind's eye, at least. At some point, I fell into a semi-sleep. The darkness in the room seemed to press in on me and my eyes fluttered shut. My body ached and my throat was a halo of fire. Thirst raked at my windpipe like sharp glass. My lips felt like crumpled paper. My head thundered like a drum. The room swam in and out of focus and my mind drifted towards the horrific sounds that never ended. I was lost in a haze, unaware that something was sliding into the room until I felt a sharp prick on my big toe. I jolted out of my daze as my bare foot ignited with pain. I screamed and tried to move, but my bindings held me tight. The room rushed back into focus, and I blinked in agony as I felt blood trickle between my toes. I looked down for the source of pain, and I felt a scream claw at my throat. Staring up at me was an armless man. He slithered on the floor like a worm. His bald heads. I'm sorry.
That's kind of sick.
I'm sorry, Hunter. I thought you were upset when you found out this was a hell depiction.
Well, I like armless dudes slithering around the floor like a little worm.
Okay. You just like that? There's something funny about that to you, about disabled people?
It's something creepy.
You know, between that, between you laughing at people getting hurt, between you laughing at Diego, the guy you lived with who like couldn't speak your language and stuff, I feel like
reminisced, beautifully reminisced.
I feel like there's something to you about the suffering of others that you should probably think about.
I feel like you are hitting the hammer right on the head.
Yeah, hit the hammer on the nail with that one.
That's my cute that's my cute little quirk though.
You're into suffering? You're like
no, not that I'm into suffering, but it makes me uncomfortable and I giggle.
Oh, okay.
See, that's
so,
why that's
you're
what makes me so cute.
Put off by it that you have to laugh.
I think I'm so shocked by it at times that when I hear the idea of first off, how was the man holding the brick, you know, and then he, what does he do? Holding it down. He doesn't have arms. And he slid in the room like a little worm. But to me, I'd be like, if I was there, I just uncomfortable. Think how dirty his belly is.
Think how dirty his belly is. All right. Slithered on the floor like a worm, his bald head scabbed and filthy. His legs were wrapped together in barbed wire, forcing him to wriggle his body to move. His eyes were lidless and wide, two bloodshot white orbs that stared up at me with hungry intensity. His teeth had been removed and replaced with long screws which jutted from his bleeding gums like a broken rock formation.
That's sick.
Around his, I'm sorry, I thought you didn't like that this was hell. It's almost like if the author's creative, you can use hell for some very interesting body horror depictions.
I don't know why you're trying to throw me down the river here. I was a little disappointed. Now I think this is cool. It's like it kind of reminds me of is like the Silent Hill or like some like old PS2 horror game stuff. Silent Hill or fucking like almost like The Suffering too.
Because when you use supernatural themes effectively, you can get to some really strange points. Like I just want to hear you say you were wrong in your conception about it when you found out yourself.
I don't think you'll admit that.
Okay. We'll see as the story goes on.
All right.
Around his neck was a chain leash, which I followed across the floor to the open door. The end of the leash was held by a tall, naked man. His body was hairless and flabby, covered in similar scabs like his pet. A dirty bag was pulled over his head that hid his features except for a single red eye that peeked out at me from a crude cut in the cloth.
Wrap up your holiday shopping with week 1 of Christmas Rush at Canadian Tire. Pick up deals on last-minute gifts, holiday decor, and more in-store and online now until December 15th.
He stared at me and groped his... Oh no. Here it goes.
No, go ahead.
He stared at me and groped his engorged penis, his breath heavy and labored. As the armless man wriggled towards me again, his master...
No, go ahead. What is that word?
His master started to... Another word that starts with master.
Jacket.
There you go. He started cranking it.
Started beating off.
Cranking the hog is actually a fitting name
his
for
master
it.
Started cranking the hog. Started yunking his doink.
He started absolutely jorking it. I screamed as the screw-filled mouth bit at me again, and my cry seemed to stimulate the naked man even more.
Get off me! Stop it!
I screamed, horrified. I tried to kick at the man, doing my best to avoid his sharp metal teeth. I brought my heel down on his head, and he screamed as his face bounced off the floor. A moan of pleasure escaped the bagged man's mouth, and I turned away as a mist of black sprayed on the floor. Ew. There was a rattle of chains, and I turned back to see the two of them leaving. The armless man dragged by his neck out the door, looked at where the bagged man had finished, and saw a puddle of dead ants I vomited onto myself thick, chunky curtains of bile and slime.
Get me out of here!
I screamed, strands of puke running down my chin.
I don't belong here!
Ants, bro. Dead ants.
I'm not gonna lie. A frothy ejaculate of ants would be. It would not feel good.
Oh, man.
That would scrape an itch. And also, I thought that. So the black mist was just a collection of. Do you think they're alive ants or dead ants?
I think they're dead. Well, I think what he means is just like, from his perspective, it was just black.
Yeah.
He looks closer and it's ants. Which, oh gosh, that's so
You're right.
brutal. Oh, I listened to the two men retreat down the hallway, the clink of chains accompanied by the sound of flesh being dragged across the concrete. I screamed again, but I knew no one was going to help me. I spit a wad of phlegm and bile onto the floor, ridding my mouth of its sourness. I forced myself to calm down. It wasn't easy. After some time, I heard someone else approaching. I'd been in a miserable lull, my mind a blank canvas of dark despair, but the noise roused me from my trance-like state. The muscles in my arms burned from being restrained for so long, and I shifted them desperately, trying my best to prepare myself for whatever horror was about to walk through the door. Footsteps drew closer, and then a woman walked into the room. She stopped at the doorway and looked at me. One of her eyes was missing, dark, cavernous hole in her skull. Her hair was ratty and wild, brown tangled like a forgotten nest. Her skin was pale, filthy, and she was dressed in rags. Couldn't tell how old she was, but there was maturity in her one good eye.
Still thinking?
She asked, her voice coarse and brittle.
What?
She took a step closer.
Are you still deciding whether you're going to feed the pig or not?
I looked at her cautiously.
Yeah, I am. Who are you? What do you want?
I was once where you are now, trying to decide my fate. I couldn't believe that this was what happened after we die. It wasn't what I taught. Religion didn't warn me about this place.
Tested my bindings again before asking.
You killed yourself too? You're a person like me? You're not one of those creations?
Breaks my heart you have to ask, though.
She touched the hole where her eye should have been.
Though, I can understand your caution. Yeah, I'm suicidal. I've been here a long time. But that was my choice. I decided to chance it here.
Motion with my head towards the door.
What's out there? What is all this?
She exhaled heavily, leaned against the wall.
I can't even begin to describe this place. It's like nothing you've ever seen. You walk down the hall and go out into it, and you'd have to see it to understand.
How bad is it? Why are all these mutated people hurting and killing each other?
She let her head loll back against the wall.
It would take years for you to fully understand this place. Years you don't have. Right now, you have to make a decision. Stay or feed the pig. They tell me hell is worse than here, but it can't be by much. Monsters and suicidals roam the Black Farm, killing, raping, brutalizing, and then you wake up and wonder how long you can survive before something else kills you. It's an endless cycle.
So why did you stay? Why didn't you feed the pig? I don't even know what that means, but I would do anything for a chance to go back. I can't stay here. I just can't.
She smiled sadly at me.
Why? Why did I choose this? It's simple, really. I'm a coward. I was a coward when I was alive, and I'm a coward in death. When it came down to it, when the moment presented itself, I chose to stay here. I didn't know what awaited me outside. It boiled down to a simple choice fueled by my own fear. What is the pig? What does it do to you?
He suddenly turned to go.
I'm afraid that's for you to find out. But let me warn you. Think hard before you make a decision. Sometimes suffering through your fear is better than suffering for eternity. Be brave. What do I do?
I yelled, shaking in my chair. She walked out the door. She paused and took one last look over her shoulder. Her eyes darted around and she dropped her voice to a whisper.
Feed the pig.
And with that, she was gone. So how do you feel about that interaction?
Interesting. Interested to see that. I'm guessing that the longer you stay there, one, I'm wondering is every time you die, if you get kind of, if you die for a second and then come back, like basically a tortured zombie husk forever is kind of how that read to me. Or if just by being in there, your body is just slowly deteriorating and becoming a monster as well.
I think it's kind of like the way she said that you get killed and then you wake back up here. So it implies that every time you die, you kind of respawn, sort of, right? Is that the vibe you get?
Think that's kind of what I was thinking. Like if you got struck in the back of the head, you might die, but then you would wake up. But I'm guessing that you keep the wound, kind of, is kind of what I'm thinking.
So you think she's missing an eye?
Yeah, like somebody stabbed her through her eye socket. You know what I mean? And then she woke up and was missing her eye, or the guy pulled the whatever out and took her eye with it.
So it's just like an infinite hell field of things constantly killing each other over and over.
Yeah, just the most depraved type stuff of just like a field of depravity. I'm wondering what exactly feed the pig means, like what that actually entails, that process.
Yeah. I don't know. I honestly can't remember. I'm liking this so far. I'm into it. I think it's a cool concept. I think it's interestingly done. I'm a fan.
The Silent Hill turn is really, really fun visually. Like, really enjoyed the guy with screws for teeth and him like being on a leash and stuff. I just imagine like all of the, now that my mind, even though in my mind I'm picturing basically like rusty walls, just Silent Hill stuff is I just keep like, it gets more, the setting is becoming more crimson, more orange and browns, just like rust.
I imagine the sky's like a red, like the trees are black, you know, like
black trees. Sure.
YouTube Premium is ad-free YouTube and video downloads, so you can watch cooking shows as you eat airplane food. YouTube Premium, it's way more than ad-free. Try 1 month free of charge.
Yeah, it's like a nothingness.
Just kind of a. It's a different version of hell, basically.
Rot. Yeah, pretty much. It's like decay allowed for thousands of years on the people, on the land, everything. Yeah.
What do you think that place smells like?
It smells like putrid flesh. Has to.
Just like dead skin everywhere.
Yeah, it smells like, you know what it smells like when an animal's been dead a while, just everywhere, all the time.
I would imagine it's a collection of all kinds of things, piss, shit, that kind of stuff. I imagine
every time someone dies, their body just lays out there, you know, just rotting.
Well, I'm wondering too if the girl that we just talked to, if she smells that way too, because she's just technically rotting skin and stuff. Even the people walking around smell that way.
Everyone's decomposed.
Or maybe it just smells like bacon. Who knows?
If it just smelled like bacon, but you couldn't have any.
Well, I'll be honest. The older I get, the bacon becomes less and less alluring to me, if I'm being completely honest. And now I will go as far to say that when my wife will make bacon for herself for like breakfast sometimes, and it almost makes me gag, the smell of bacon.
Are you the Grinch? What the heck? You don't like the smell?
I don't know.
Of bacon?
I honestly don't know. I used to like, now I don't know why, but like the smell of bacon, for some reason, it makes me like seriously sick to my stomach. I'm like, I can't do it. And I'm going to sound like a little Nancy, but I will say, don't mind turkey bacon. Love some nice turkey bacon.
All right, here's what needs to happen. At some point, me and you need to go camping, and I'm going to
make bacon. I will throw up on you.
Have you ever smelling bacon in an enclosed kitchen's one thing, but have you ever been like outside and like smelled bacon like on a
campfire type stuff? Definitely.
And you don't like that?
Well, it's been a while, but I feel like now even I would rather smell the beautiful fresh air and the trees and not the goddamn disgusting pig meat.
I'm just gonna keep reading. Okay. How you randomly drop stuff? You're like, I hate the smell of bacon. Like, not just like favors. Like,
You know, man, sorry that I'm trying to like just let you know who I am as a person.
yeah, but
You know
every
what I
time
mean?
you let me know who you are as a person, it makes you less human. The things you
You know,
dislike.
then
aren't-
I will stop because if it's going to ruin our relationship as co-host, then I'll just stop telling you about
No,
myself.
I don't want that because it's great material for the podcast. Okay. And more importantly than anything to do with you is the success of this channel. Let's get that straight.
Well, I mean, I'm glad we're at least in agreement there.
Yeah, at least we got our prayers over. So you keep being strange.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying that the things that you have issues with aren't like things people have yes or no's about. It's like core human experiences. You're like, well, it's just funny, death. Or it's also like, oh, you know what? I hate the smell of food. Like,
Okay, I didn't say death was
you
funny. I'm
are-
saying that out of nowhere, in a story, right? There is let's say I have this deal of like, I went to
every day I'm slightly more convinced you are bug people in a hunter-shaped costume.
That's fine. I'm a collection of grasshoppers.
Yeah.
just inside of human leather. It's pretty much what I am. That's all I am.
Yeah,
I'm a grasshopper scarecrow. That's what I am. I'm fine with that.
Scarecrow. Every now and then we'll be out to eat or something like that. Hunter will like go to eat his food and like grasshoppers fall. And he's like, oh, I gotta quit doing that as he's shoveling the back end real quick.
I picture whenever I got dinner with you and Kayla, I'm like, you guys are like, yeah, I really love this place, and it's just me stiff, like my eyes and my mouth open, and like grasshoppers are just like hopping out of it, and you're just talking to me as if it's a normal conversation. I'm just.
Yeah, just like, oh man, how do you like the food? And you're like a mannequin over there with grasshoppers pouring out on the table. Like,
Yeah, my
eating
neck-
everything. Yeah.
My neck falls back and falls off my body, and like bugs are just like protruding everywhere, jumping and going. You're like, oh wow, the steak here is unbelievable. Everyone's screaming in terror and running out of the restaurant.
You have to try the spinach dip. It's insane.
Which makes it even better that I'm assuming that you had to unbuckle me from the backseat of your car and like carry me into the restaurant.
And then I walk in like, table for two, please, as you
Yeah.
look over my arm. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do when you die. I'm gonna have like a Hunter statue I bring places. Like, oh, this is my best friend. I love him. Haha, isn't that right, Hunter? Haha. Remember our podcast? That was a lot of fun. Hey, especially, we like that, don't we? And the bugs are just like all over the mannequin's face. It's like they're like chewing through it.
It's like just sounds like a bunch of cicadas in the room.
Yeah, it's like the loudest noise ever. Like all of them clicking off of each other and stuff.
If I die tragically, Isaiah, and you don't have some kind of manic episode and carry like at least some kind of Funko Pop around of me,
Oh, of course.
I'm gonna be very
and
sad.
I'm gonna make podcast episodes with it too, where it's just like sitting there and I'm like, remember Tommy Taffy? It was pretty wacky, huh? Baraska. Hey, Hunter.
I like to think that you actually go so manic that you are having a conversation with it, but people can't hear the other end. So it'll just be like,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, I've said it. I've said it in public. Like, hey, what would Kyle from Baraska say? And then I'm quiet for 20 seconds, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, Hunter,
True.
classic Hunter. Yeah, for sure. My wife's left me. I live in like a motel room now.
You also definitely put that Funko Pop in a jar.
I wouldn't. Now it's different. Now the tone's dramatic. See what I mean? This is what
There
you
was
do.
a
You
huge-
take something.
there was a- there was a
No.
huge
Stop
shift
talking.
there.
Shut up.
There was a
You take
huge
something.
shift.
You take something that is like funny and normal, and you're like, you know what would make this so much worse? I never want to hear you say the word Baraska again or Tommy Taffy because you do it with real life scenarios. It's so much worse.
I don't know, dude. I've seen the mason jars you have in your house. I feel like a Funko Pop could fit in there. All right. Anyways, let's continue on.
I sat in silence once again. My mind was spinning, desperately turning over my options. I still couldn't fully understand the situation I was in. It was too much, too overwhelming. The other side of death wasn't supposed to be like this. I didn't know what I had expected, but it wasn't this nightmare. Questions crashed over my mind like cold waves onto a sinking ship. How was I supposed to make a choice when I didn't even know what my actions entailed? This place, the Black Farm, I couldn't stay here. But what if I went to hell? What if I didn't get sent back? I would be out of the fire and into the frying pan. Did he write that backwards on purpose?
I don't know.
That doesn't make any sense. Because hell,
Maybe out of the fire.
Because the saying is out of the frying pan into the fire, right? Like we went from bad to worse.
Well, I'm wondering if he's doing that because it's like pig. If it's like, oh, you're being, I don't know.
But no,
Advocate.
going to hell would absolutely be going to the fire, not the frying pan. He's in the frying pan right now. Whatever. Anyway, okay. My existence would forever be damned to unending misery. Here, though, there were people like me, suicidals. Wasn't all monsters and mutilated murderers. Maybe I could hole up somewhere with them, try to scrape together a passable existence. Surely that would be better than getting sent to hell.
Okay, so I'm about to go out. My phone did die, unfortunately, but I hope you guys enjoyed the story. They're very good, aren't they? They're very, very good. They really are good. Don't forget to subscribe and like, and let me know if you like something like this. We'll try it again some other time. Okay? Okay, I gotta go out. You see my fit? Yeah, boy. Yeah. All right. I'll see you guys some other time. Did I say if you subscribe? I can't remember if I did. Yeah, subscribe and like and share. I highly doubt anyone's gonna share because I don't share. But share. Okay. All right. See ya. Bye. Bye.